opponent is attacking the side control, when you start building the frames here, sometimes your opponent start changing for the north south. Okay, start going north south. But you start going north south like this, and there'll be like different ways for opponent to do the north south. Of course, Jonathan is not putting the weight here right now, but usually he put the weight on me here, like he spread like this. Okay, and if you have the arm, okay, that's near your head, over your arm like this, so you can attack the north-south choke. You gotta be aware of the north-south choke, but also you can attack the Kimura trap here. Okay, you gotta be aware with those two submissions when you are on the north-south right here. Okay, if I start turning sideways, it's a great opportunity for opponent to take my back. Okay, even if my arm's inside, let's say if I start to turn like this, it's easy for you to go to my back. Okay. So I need to keep my shoulders on the mat, right? So there'll be different ways for your opponent to control you. One is having one arm trap, you see, and the other arm is over my arm like this, okay? And of course, like all his attacks will be on this side. He's not gonna work on the other side because this side right here is under his arm. This side right here, my left side, is exposed, okay? So he can go for a Kimura and north south choke, okay? And of course, with the Kimura trap, you can go for your arm bars. Okay? So I gotta be aware. So I cannot turn this way, right, to try to escape. If I do that, Jonathan can take my back or finish with the Kimura or north-south. Okay? Um, or take my back as well. So other way that he can control you is putting both elbows over my arm like this. Okay? Like right over my arm. So, but this way or here, there's no chokes. Okay, he's not gonna choke you. Okay, and also he's not gonna attack any guillotine. There's nothing he can do here. The things that he can do, if I start turning, he can force me to face the back to him. So he can start like turning this way. So yeah, I expose my back, go back to my back here. He start going to my back here. Okay, like this. And you have a good control because he trapped my arm here, so I cannot turn outside. Also, when I turn like this, okay, he was here, right? He was with the arm here. If I start turning this way, Jonathan can go for the north-south choke here too. So he can grab my neck and start sprawling. Maybe you never saw the north-south choke, how the north-south choke works. But pretty quick here, Jonathan, go for the north-south. He's gonna grab your head, put the biceps near your neck, and he's gonna start putting the weight of his lat right on your face, and then he forces you to tap. Okay, we're gonna learn also how to defend that, like the north-south choke and the Kimura right here, because I believe those are the main submissions that your opponent can do from the north-south. Okay, um, another way that he can control you, and this is completely wrong for him, is having both arms right here. So he goes with the arms under my arms. Okay, so this way right here, it's easy for me to escape. The good thing for him, Jonathan can go for a Kimura's both sides. He can choose either side to go for the Kimura. Okay? And also he can attack the north-south choke one side or attack to the other side. So you have both arms, both sides to attack. But it's easier for me to take him away from me. Okay? It's easier for me to push him and slide down. Okay? Of course, if you trap my head, Jonathan. If you trap my head like this, then it'll be a problem for me. But we have a solution for that as well. Okay, so I'm just explaining here the ways that your opponent will be on top of you. Okay, again, first one, he's trapped in one arm and the other arm is strapped like this. So one arm is under his armpit and the other arm is right on top of his biceps here. Okay, or he goes with both arms inside like this. Okay, that's another way for him to control. And that's actually a good way for him to hold you and control you. But there's not much submission. Only if I turn. Then he can start going to my back. Right? And also with both arms under like this. Those are the three situations that I need to recognize and know what can happen. So I just explained you here what can happen in each situation. Okay? All right. So let's start from here. Okay? He grabbed me with both arms under my arm right here. So I know he goes for the Kimura. Go for the Kimura, Jones. And if he goes for the Kimura, you can work always on open your leg and then you put your shin inside. You can use your your arm here or your hand right on his elbow, so you can open his elbow, put your knee inside, and then break the grip. And once you break the grip, you start framing and then start escaping. And then you start doing the side control escape. But I believe your opponent will always be walking towards the north-south like this, okay? And remember, what I want to do is to put him over my frames, so which is my forearm or my shin. If I can do that, I'll be good here, okay? Once I do that, it's easier for me to start recovering the guard, okay? Start like recovering the guard, and then be facing towards it, okay? Playing guard. Hold on, give me a second. So again, so if your jaws go for the Kimura, go for this side, just not trap the Kimura here, okay? Right away I push, and then put my leg inside, and then I see it, okay? So that's the first thing you're gonna do here. We're gonna avoid the submission, okay? Go again, just on the side. It goes one, okay? I cannot turn this way, okay? If I turn and expose my back towards him and let him do that, it's easier for him to attack the Kimura. So it's easier for him to go for the Kimura lock, okay? It's easier for him to go to my back, okay, as well. So he can start with my back. And also he can make a transition to north-south. Or he can go to the armbar, go. With the Kimura trap, he can do a lot of things here, okay? So if you turn your sideways, let's say I'm too late, right? The first step is when he grabbed the Kimura, I put my hand on the floor and I face towards my arm, okay? If I do that, it's easier for me to put my knee inside and then break the grip. Also, when I face towards the arm, it's way harder for him to tap me, okay? If you get the Kimura and I start facing towards him, then I will expose my back, and also it's easier for him to get the lock, okay? So once he grabs, I'll be with my hand on the floor, straight, facing towards my arm, put the shin inside, breaking the grip, and now I start escaping from here. Okay, there'll be like different ways for you to escape, all right? If you Jonathan turn me sideways, he grab me here, and he turn me sideways like this. I must like facing towards him, and I'll bring my triceps in between his arm, okay, and I'll face towards him, putting my triceps on the floor, like this. I want to have my triceps on the floor, okay, and at the same time, I will go away from him. I'll walk away from him. Check this out. So he's gonna be here, okay. Right now he's not trapping my head, okay. Right now, Jonathan is just grabbing the Kimura, so you can see that. So you see my triceps will go between his arms, okay? And immediately I put my back on the floor, facing towards him, and moving like kind of like forcing to go for the side control me instead of staying on the north-south. If I just put my shoulders on the mat and stop here, he can still turn me back this way, okay? So I need to put the arm that's between his arm here, his arms, on the floor. So my elbow goes to the floor right here, like this. And when you do that, even like sometimes your opponent feels like a pressure on his wrist. Okay, try to stand up, Jonas. Try to bring me back. So he's gonna try to turn me back this way. Okay, so don't let that happen, right? So immediately don't stretch your arm. Okay, so keep your hand on your chest and just put your elbow on the floor really quick, like this. Once you do that, you can start like framing. Right here, you can start framing the top hand, and then you go into your shin inside, okay, the bottom shin right in between his thigh and belly, and then step the leg over, okay, his head. Now, you can start attacking the armbar, okay? Or he's gonna just feel pressure on his wrist, and he's gonna let go. And when he let go the grip, you will be ready to escape. First, you're gonna do for the armbar. So step one, he grabs here. Step two, I'll turn, facing towards him, putting my elbow on the floor. Step three, I'm gonna frame, push, and then I bring my legs together. The bottom leg goes with the shin under his belly, and the top leg will pass over his head. And then I start attacking the armbar here. Pushing towards the mat, pinching my knees, attacking the armbar, okay? You got the Kimura. Step one, step two, okay? Once you go here, don't try to keep her holding your hands like this. Keep her head down, Jonas. Put your head down. If you put the head down here, if you turn this way here, and you keep facing towards his head, it's gonna be hard for you to finish the armbar here. Okay, it's really hard for you to stretch here. And if I stretch his arm if you give me the arm, so it's hard for me to create the leverage. It's easy for Jonathan to turn his elbow like this and then start escaping, okay? My goal is to bring his head, grab your hands. My goal is to bring his head to the floor, like this, okay? So actually putting this foot towards the mat, pinching my knees, okay? This is my goal. Once I get here, I can step my leg over his belly, and then I can start breaking the grips and start working to get the armbar like we learned before, okay? But if you're escaping here and your opponent is super heavy, let's say I turn and I go to the armbar, I go step 1, step 2, and then John starts like stacking me here. I start stretching him, I can push my leg right here with my outside hand, and then it's hard for me to stretch his arm, okay? So put your head below Jones. If his head is right here like this, like the way he is, it's easy for me to bring him this way. Okay? At the same time I'm pushing my heel towards the mat, I'm pushing my leg, this leg right here, that way. Okay? What I want to do is to bring his head this way. So I push down and I bend the knee to my chest. Okay, I bend this knee to my chest. So I go 1 and then 2. I drag him this way. Once he falls, I adjust myself. Okay, so keep holding here. So I just got out for the Kimura. I got right here. If I feel that his head is here, I can easily like start pushing towards the mat. But if Jonathan start like putting the weight really low like this and force me to face towards his legs, I need to elevate my hips off the mat, having my weight on my shoulder, and then I spin all the way facing to his leg. And now this leg right here, okay, that's on top right now, my right leg, I gotta put inside between his body. So I'll be in this position here, facing towards his feet. And I mentioned that before. I like to underhook with this arm right here. I make a transition in between. I'll show you that again. Once I get here, put my leg inside, grab his wrist, pinch my knees, okay? Control the wrist, bring the pinky towards my chest, and then I can start bridge and building the leverage to finish the armbar, okay? My goal is to not have my shoulders off the mat, okay? My back off the mat. So I put my shoulders on the mat and drag my elbow on the floor like this. See? Now I frame, I bring the shin inside with both legs together. That's in the leg here. If you just start putting the weight on me, I can easily drag him to the side, make him fall, and then get the armbar. Okay. My right hand, I post on my thigh right here. Okay, and then from here, I can start working to break the grip and get the armbar. And a great way for me to break the grip, and I need to have a feeling when I'm breaking the grip here, okay? So if you see, like, the reason that he cannot pull his arm is because the outside arm is on top of the hand, okay? So I gotta clear that. So I clean this here, try to grab it. If I clear that, so now it's easier for me to get the armbar, okay? Or if you close the rear naked choke, I like to push his elbow really quick, okay? Like this, popping the hand out, and now I pinch my knees and then finish him right here. So the first thing is, I can put my back on the floor. I can start like putting my shin inside and then break the grip if that's possible. Okay? If the lie is too strong, I gotta face to him, put my elbow on the floor. See, my triceps is on the floor. Frame under his neck so I can have a space. Now I bring my knee here, or my shin goes inside and pass the other leg over. Okay? Pinching my knees here. If you want to start leaning towards me here, put your weight on me, Jones. Here, I can start dragging to the floor. Notice that I put my hand here. Okay? Now I step my leg over his belly. Switch the side. I like to switch the side here. And the reason that I switch the side is to control this leg right here. If you try to come up, I can grab his leg here. Okay? We call it like a spider web, right? So you can grab here and stay like this. Or if you try to turtle Jones. By coming this way, yes. Right here, I can bring him back and I can push his hips with this hand. But it's always good to underhook this leg here while we're attacking. Okay? And then suddenly you let go, pop, and then break the grip. Okay? Or you can clean the hand to this side and then get the armbar here, okay? Again, if I turn this way, I go for the armbar, but Jonathan's with the head really low. I cannot bring it that way. So what I do, face the camera, Jonathan. Notice that I'll change my hand, look. I'll go with this hand inside while I'm like lifting my hips. And then I'll go with my forehead on the floor, and I change my hand, look, and I face towards this leg. Once I do that, I put this leg inside, look. Sink my leg through, now pinch my knees, and I finish the armbar here. So as soon as you grab the kimura, immediately you turn, bring your legs here, okay? Turn, look, when I'm turning, see that I'm changing my hand. And at the same time, I'm putting my foot inside, right here, okay? Pinch my knees, and finish, okay? It would be so simple for me to teach you just doing this. Like as soon as you get the armbar here, okay, of course, but we know the reactions. We need to understand the reactions of our opponent, right? So as soon as I turn here and I go with my leg inside and I bring it towards the mat right here, of course, this is simple, easy, right? But it's not all the time that this will be happening in a fight, especially when your opponent knows what you want to do. If you bring the weights towards you, bring the weight towards me here, it's easy for me to drag him that way. But if you keep the weight down like this, okay, he doesn't want to come here. He knows like he can escape, right? I need to do something, right? It's hard for me to go that way. Worst case scenario, if I cannot like turn, if I don't want to turn, if it don't work, I just like recover the guard. Step my bottom leg on his hips, and then recover the guard so I can start closing the guard, okay? But as soon as I see the opportunity to get a nice armbar on him, turn around just more. As soon as I have the opportunity here to have the arm, grab your hand, to grab his arm here, I'll turn, I lift my hips, weight on my shoulder, forehead on the floor. So now I shift my hips, knee on the floor, now I shift my hips, changing the hand, stepping the leg inside. Now I got the armbar. Okay, just in case like you want to keep doing the armbar, okay? You can also just recover the guard or attack the armbar from the bottom. But once you start feeling he's really heavy, you got to spin. So in the fight, it's going to work like this. Okay? So I'll turn. I'll pass the leg. Now I turn all the way. And then start sinking the other leg through as well. So now I bring his pinky towards this side here and squeeze with my thigh, my groin over his triceps. Force him to tap. And bridge at the same time. So we just work with the Kimura trap right here, okay? Both hands inside. You got the Kimura. First option is put my hand on the floor and try to bring my leg inside. You see he's awkward here right now. Usually he's gonna walk this way, just this way, right? He wants to change for the side control. Then you break the grip, you clean your hand, then you start framing, start escaping the hips. Okay, recovering the guard. But if you're too late, right? He already turned you. In case my opponent step over my arm here, like this here, yeah, it's harder for me to escape, right? But what I want to push myself this way, okay? So I push him with my shoulder. My shoulder is touching his belly button, my right shoulder, okay, is touching his belly button. So I push that way, and immediately I turn towards him. I go like 1, and then 2, I turn. So I just create a space. Now I have my elbow on the floor. So as soon as I do that, I build that frame. If he insists in grabbing my arm, I bring my knee inside and pass my leg over at the same time. So once I'm here, I can already like recover the guard if I want. Or if I want to insist in the armbar, my top hand goes inside, grab my other thigh. In the meantime, I'm like turning. Forehead on the floor, turn, sink my leg inside here. Okay, so I have a better trap. So now I break his grip and then start getting the armbar here. Okay. So first, he just grabbed the Kimura. He didn't step on your arm, right? So you turn right away. Putting your triceps on the floor. Okay, your right triceps here. But if he's on top of my arm, here, if I just try to turn, pinch your knees together, just you pinch the knees together, it's hard for me to turn. Okay, so I use my feet on the floor to push him little bit this way, okay? One, and then two. Okay, I escape. So once I escape, I stretch and then find a space to get him, and then start finishing the armbar. Always pinching the knees. Okay, you can get the armbar like this as well, but it's better for you to step over his belly, so that way he doesn't escape. Okay, so this is really, really important, right? To do is the pinching. You see that your opponent will get the Kimura, and then he's gonna do all the trap. So he start like trying to step over my arm joints. He's gonna try to step over your arm like this, or he's gonna try to scoop the leg under like this. And this is way worse for me. It's really hard for me to escape here. I can still push him up like this, but if he's really strong right here, I need to free this elbow here. Okay, because if I keep my triceps over his calf, he's doing a pretty good job here. So I use my frame here, look, like this. That's my first option. And of course, I keep my hand on my belly really hard, because in the meantime, he's trying to break my grip and bring it this way. Okay, so I bring my elbow under, push, and then I slide back. So I do two. I push to this way, and I go back to the other side, putting my elbow on the floor, and moving, turning towards him, like giving like the side control to my opponent. Okay. Again, so if you just grab here, right away, turn, and work to get. Okay. If you trap over like this, no, just the shin, push, and get out. Okay. If he's trapping your arm right here, you need to find a way to bring your elbow here in front of his calf, pass your elbow under, push, and then go back. Put your triceps on the floor, trap his head, and then start getting the armbar, finishing him. Okay. So those are all the escapes that I like to do when the person get the Kimura trap from the north-south. And you can use all these escapes from all the ways that he's gonna control you, right? Except the one that is holding over both arms. If he's holding both over both arms, he's not gonna get the Kimura on you. We gotta learn a different escape. But if there is one arm inside, he's always gonna get the Kimura here. And right away, you gotta immediately turn this way, okay? In case you change for the side control and get the armbar, the Kimura here, put your hand on the floor, escape your hips, shin inside, and clean. Okay, again, so get the Kimura. So as soon as you get the Kimura, I like to use this hand here, okay, use this hand to, and then do that, okay? Go again. So you grab it here, step over, just step over. Very important, not just turn right away. So you go one and two. Okay, you make him be off a little bit. All right. And this can be really fast. When you step over, okay, he's already trying to bring my hand behind my back. I cannot relax my arm. I need to keep my hand on my belly really strong. Try to go, Jones. I can actually put my hand inside my inner thigh here as well. Go, Jones. Okay, but this is not gonna last long, because once he feels that he cannot do the Kimura, he's gonna change for the armbar. And when he changes for the armbar, then it's easier for him to get you, right? So you can use the hand here for a little bit, right? And then you find the space when you push and turn really quick. So when I turn, I go step one, and then step two, I bring my elbow on the floor. And of course, I need to take my hand off my inner thigh. Okay? Holding the inner thigh will just give you time to not let him go for the submission right away. Okay? So when Jonathan's got the Kimura here, I put my hand here. Okay, go, Jonathan. I can grab with both hands. Yes, I can too. I can grab like this. Go, Jones. That's why he step over your arm here. So you step over your arm to break that grip. Then you have this hold here, okay? If you stop here and keep facing this way, it's good for him. If I keep turning this way, belly down, it's gonna finish me here, or he make a transition to the back or armbar, okay? So that's not good. So all the way, always push, go down, elbow on the floor. You already have the frame. Now you get the armbar. Start bringing that way, or if it's heavy, spin all the way around, and then go for the armbar, okay? Reverse armbar. All right, so we passed through all the details right there. So now every time somebody tries to get the Kimura on you from the north-south, those are the things that you need to do and you need to understand. You always face to the side of your arm, never face away from your opponent. He's gonna attack the north-south right here, and he's gonna start squeezing my neck. There's two ways for him to get a north-south. One, it's with both of my hands and my arms on this side, okay? And the other one is like covering one arm. We gotta learn both ways right here, okay? So let's start first with both arms on this way right here. If I turn to this side, it's not gonna solve the problem. It's still like choke me. And if I try to turn the other side, maybe I can turn my face this way, but then he's gonna change for guillotine, okay? So this is not a solution. Like turning to the side is not a solution to escape from the north-south, right? So if my hands are free, yeah, he's squeezing my neck, work with both hands, like linking the hands on the side like this and try to squeeze. The first thing I'll do is to go with my hands under his neck, okay? And I'll put this part of my hand right under his chin, okay? So my thumbs would be like this, okay? I'll close like that, not like this, okay? I'll close like that. I close as much as possible, right? So once he does that, I go here. I'm not gonna squeeze him here, okay? I'm just like pushing. And when I start pushing here, he's already start feeling uncomfortable. And for your opponent to make you tap right here, he needs to put the head down. He needs to just start squeezing really hard. Usually you face outside like this. Okay? Even with him facing outside, you can put your hand here. Okay? If his head is really low, then it's gonna be hard for you to grab to catch his chin, okay, his neck. Go back to us. Go back. So when you start like setting up the choke, so I'm here, for example, like trying to escape and then you get a choke. Once you get the choke, immediately I put my hands right here. Okay. Once I put my hand here, I'm gonna start pressing up. Okay. And just pressing up like this and having this part of my hand super tight against his neck will force him to go away from me, because more he goes down, more he feels the choke right there. He's going against my hand, okay? And I like to do simple stuff here, okay? This is very simple. I'm gonna push, and as I push, I'll find a space, and I gotta press as much as I can, okay? So I'll press, I push him away. Try to choke me, jump. I keep pushing like this, okay? And then my hand will be free, right? If I just push, okay, and take my hand out, I can escape. Maybe I can just start turning towards it and then escape and recover the guard. But a lot of times they're putting you keep driving forward and try to escape, right? So instead of just pushing like up, I'll push him up, but a little bit towards my legs, towards my knees. So pushing up and a little bit that way. And now I'll trap his head like this. I can squeeze here and maybe like end up tapping him right here, okay? He have a high percentage of chance of tapping. So you're gonna squeeze your inner thighs, right, against your hand, and then forcing your hands to be together right on the side of his neck, and then he will tap. Okay, so I'm here, I go push a little bit, then I trap here, then I force him to tap. Okay, so I go step one, and then step two, I stretch. And notice that when I stretch, I go with my hand like this on the side of his neck, okay? If he doesn't tap, okay, I will find a space to escape. So I go step one, step two, I start stretching. He's gonna start letting go, right? Like he's gonna start worry about his neck, right? And then I gotta put the frames inside. So once I put the frames, I put my knees inside. Okay, and then I have my shin inside as well. So he's on top of the frame of my shins, and then I start recovering the guard, just like we work in the first drill we learned from the instructional here, okay? We start facing towards and recovering the guard. So my goal is to put him over my shin like this, okay? So he's gonna grab here, I go immediately 1, 2, I can choke him right here, okay? Or when I start like feeling that he's giving some space to me, I put my shin inside, I have my hands inside, and then start recovering the guard, okay? Another thing I can do as well is try to bring his head down that way, okay, and push him. So once he go for the north-south choke, I go 1, chew, and start pushing that way. Okay, once I push him that way, now I start escaping my hips, pushing his arm. Okay. Again. Step one. Step two, I push his head that way, see? But when I do this, sometimes he can step over my body here, like this, and then start doing a reverse mount. But it's way better for me to be on this situation than I was like when he was choking me, okay? So I suggest you to bring the frames inside, right? So when you got this space here, either than tap, you put your hands here. After you put your forearms inside and have your forearms like your opponent on top of forearms, you're gonna bring your shin inside as well. And then start facing one side. Don't keep this leg here because he can start passing your guard like this way. Okay, so once you hear your frame, and then step your foot on his shoulder, on his chest, and then recover the guard. Okay? One more time. So we go step one, okay? Step two, I can start choking right here, he tap, right? If not, I'm gonna let go of the hands and keep the head trapped, okay? So don't do that. And try to go back here. Okay, go with your hands inside, because once you do this, you go to the north-south again, or get the Kimura and start going for the side control. Lower my head. So I go step one, step two, I start pushing, keep trapping his head and put my forearms inside. Once I do this, now put my knee inside. Once my knee is inside, now step my foot on his chest, push, and start recovering the guard. Okay? So you can definitely choke the person there, okay? This will work if he's holding your neck and you have both arms free, okay? If he's trapping your arm like this, that'll be harder for you to do that. Okay? It's gonna be different on this situation. For now, we're just gonna work when he's doing this with both hands free. So I push, trap, push him that way, right? Go to this side to try to escape. So now, forearm inside, put my shin inside, and then recover the guard, pushing his chest. Okay, just repeat that over and over. It's a great way for you to escape and practice, okay, during the fight. All right, right now Jonathan is going for the north-south choke, but he's with the arm trap right here. You have one side trap, so I can't go with my hands inside his neck. Okay, under his neck right here, with my thumbs under the neck. Turn around, Jonathan. So you see that my arm's trapped here? It's pretty hard for me to escape right now. Okay? So what I'm gonna do here, once you start going for the choke, I'll bring this forearm inside here, like this. So I'm gonna bring my hand under his neck. A lot of times your opponent will hide the head on this side. Okay, so right here I put my hand on my chest, slide the side of my hand on his neck, grab his chin. Okay, turn around, friends. If he's hiding the head, right, to hide your head. So you see that I go with my hand right here and I grab his chin like this. So now I bring his chin, his face close to my chest. In the meantime, Jonathan's will fight with this. He's gonna try to go back. Okay, so now with this hand I go here. And start like finding this space. I go with my hand under the other hand. If the Jonathan is bigger and it's not possible for me to bring my hands together, close their elbow, Jonathan. He's gonna close the elbow, so now it's really hard for me to escape right here. Okay? So what I need to do right now, so once Jonathan is here, okay, and we know sometimes your opponent will change the north-south. He's gonna go with the hand over my arm and grab it as the first way. And then immediately you start pushing and then escaping the way you learn. Okay? If you can't have the hands inside here, you can find a space, you see? Now you shrug and then start, bring your elbow inside, so you have this hand right here. And immediately, of course, you gotta have the frames, they block him and then recover the guard. Okay? You can bring the legs inside or you can step the leg over him as well. Okay? So every time you're here, you strap your arm, you're gonna pass a hand on here. Start squeezing on. You start squeezing really hard. I go with my hand here, and I bring his head to almost to the same side of of his arm right here. But if I twist his head all the way here, it's easier for you to bring the head back there. Bring your head back to this place, yes. Okay? So I want to just grab enough so I can keep controlling his chin. Okay, as a chin strap right here. Okay, like this. Try to escape Johnson. Okay, in the meantime, Johnson is squeezing me here. Okay, and he can force me to tap. So what I can do also is to bring this hand close to his hips, turn a little bit sideways, and now I'll shrug and bring my elbow inside here. Okay, if I can bring this elbow inside, now I can change to this one here. Okay, push him and then start catching his head, forcing to tap here, or getting the frame to escape just like the first one. Okay. It's a little bit harder for you to escape when the opponent have the submission already locked. Okay, it's the same as, let's say, Johnson goes to the armbar here. So a lot of people ask me, how do I escape from the armbar? Of course, you can escape. You have a higher chance when the armbar is like this. But once you stretch your arm like this, okay, it's pretty hard for you to escape, especially if you're not very flexible. If the lock, the submission is already super deep, it's super hard for you to escape. You're able to escape from this situation, but you may get hurt, okay? Or you may tap, right? You're gonna be like in a really bad spot where you need to give up, okay? But also, it happened with me before in a tournament where the guy got me on the armbar, and I stayed there for like maybe almost a minute, tried to escape from the armbar, and then I escaped. I finally like turned and then escaped. But it caused me like injury in my elbow, and you know it's not worth it, right? But of course, he was awarded for the Worlds in 2005. It was my first year as a black. No, 2006 as my second year as a black belt. So I remember that. So when people ask me how to escape from a really deep submission, it's pretty hard. It's the same thing here. It's not that easy for you to escape from the north-south choke. You gotta find a space, okay, and you gotta be patient. Fortunately, on the neck, you can resist more because you're not gonna hurt any joints. But you know, the worst thing can happen, you can fall asleep, right? But on the arm, when they stretch your arm, it hurts, right? And then you can be like a couple months away off the mat. So you don't want to do that, okay? So you gotta make sure you protect yourself the whole time. So when the opponent start going for the position, that's when I'm escaping already. So you need to predict the positions that your opponent will do against you. So when you predict the movements, it'll be easier for you to escape, okay? But if you don't, then he's gonna get the submission. That's when he gets you, okay? And that's the problem in the fight. When you, especially in the beginning, you don't know, you don't recognize the moves that your opponent does. Especially when you are in the bad situations such as side control, you don't know what's gonna happen. And then he catch you and then you're like, oh, what's happening? And then you tap, right? Or like you put the hand right here and then he grab your hand and then you tap. Or he got your neck and then you're like, what happened? You know, and then you tap. So you need to know what's happening, okay? And that's why it's good for you to memorize and watch this, because that way you can understand better the position and you can recognize the moves of your opponent. And nothing is better than training, okay? So you gotta train, you gotta put yourself in those situations, and then you're gonna find ways to escape, okay? And then you're gonna have the feeling of the technique. And once you have the feeling, it's easier for you to deal with the technique, okay? So when Jonathan is right here, I'm already too late, right? I already let him get everything on me. Like he got my neck, he got my arm, right? So it's really bad that he starts squeezing me here. So my last hope is to go with this hand inside, okay, and chin strap. And when I chin strap, I build a frame here, okay? If I can have my hands together and push like I did the first time, great. But most of the time, it's not gonna be so easy, right? So Jonathan is squeezing here, go squeeze Jonathan right here. Now I need to relax, okay? And another thing that people need to understand, especially in the beginning, when somebody's going for a submission, you cannot put tense, okay? Because the more tense you are, easier for you to tap. So you gotta relax, but in a way that you're relaxing to escape. Okay, so every time I'm fighting, and if I stiffen my body super hard, it's gonna be so easy for my opponent to control me. for example, let's say if Jonathan's go for an armbar, again, an explanation of the armbar. Like Jonathan's got the armbar here, and I stiffen my arm, and then I'm like, oh no, 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 and then he stretch my arm, and then it'll be too late for me, and then I'll tap. But if Jonathan's go the armbar, and I relax my shoulder, go Jonathan for the armbar, I can turn and start like escaping right away. Okay, so I just need to know how to relax and make my body sometimes soft in order to escape. Okay, it's the same thing that I use, the same concept I use on the triangle. In this situation right now, we are working when he's strapping your arm. So you need to relax the arm that is strapped. So when you turn to the side, you bring your ear towards your shoulder, or your shoulder towards your ear like this. And then you're gonna like bridge and then try to put your elbow right between his biceps and forearm, okay? So that way you escape. So once you build that frame, you can easily grab his neck and do what we did the first time. Or you can frame with both hands like this, okay? So again, so I'm here. Jonathan is grabbing this arm right here, and he starts squeezing. So first I go here, so just I can gain time. Now I put my hand here. Look, I need to relax my arm like a noodle, right here. And then I start moving, and then I put my elbow inside. Once I do this, look, I'm gonna place my hand here, and then I go back like this, okay? Or what I can do is, as I go here, I can frame like this, okay? Pushing like that. If I frame with this side, it's easier for Jonathan to push with the free hand. But when I frame with the other side, it's harder for him to push. He needs to use the hand that's on the neck to clean that. And then if he does that, so it's gonna be easy for me to escape, okay? So I like to frame with the same side he's attacking my neck. You can frame also from the other side, but it's easier for him to push your arm away. And that's what I do when I'm choking people there. So they usually frame with the same side that my arm is free, so I just like snap the arm to the side, okay? So Jonathan's grab right here, okay? So if his head is really low, you can find a space here. Go with your hand near your armpit and grab, okay? So now you turn a little bit, shrug, and like now you can do like a little moves to bring your elbow out. Once your elbow is out, you place your hand, push, trap, and then start pushing down into the frame and recover the guard. Or you can tap him right there, just stretching and stiffening your legs like this, squeezing your hand against his neck, okay? So this defense is really effective, works really well. And again, if your opponent already gets you in the submission, a really deep submission, of course, it's not gonna be a easy job for you to do. It's really, really hard for you to escape. But if that happens, you need to be ready, okay? And my suggestion is as soon as you start getting the submission on you, you're already moving to escape. Don't accept the submission. Same way as the Kimura, and we're gonna learn more in all the submission escapes that we have, fundamental submission escapes. That's also instructional, and you guys can watch all there, all right? Right now, Jonathan is strapping both arms, okay? So right now, I'm kind of like safer here. But the problem is, it's a little bit harder for me to escape from this, okay? When he's doing like this, he have more attacks, like submission attacks. He can go north-south or the Kimura here, or even like arm bars, right? But it's easier for me to push him and slide down and start like moving away from him, okay? But when both arms are on top like this, he can grab me and hold me for a while, all right? If he knows how to put the weight on you, he's gonna have the hips on side of your head, okay? Usually your opponent's not gonna be with both knees on the floor like this, giving you space. If he does that, he's doing a really bad job on top, okay? So he needs to put the weight on your face right here. Okay, two things Jonathan can do. He can be with the hands like this, like holding and hugging my lower back. And this is really, really bad for me. It's really hard for me to escape from this, okay? Or he can grab like this, just holding my hips. All right, so I'm gonna show you both ways, okay? So first I need to start finding space, okay? I can push Jonathan towards my leg, yes, I can. If you stay with the head really close, I can use my hands right here and start pushing that way. But pushing that way is not gonna be enough for me because all his weight, most of his weight, 1/3 of his weight is on this side, okay? So it's easy for him to just come back. Okay, it's really hard for me to just push that way. My elbows can be like this or close. Of course, I cannot hold his back like this and just hold him like that and wait. This is not enough for me. One thing that I need to be careful is with Jonathan's hugging my head. He can hug my head, moving to the side control, and hug my head, trapping my arm like this. Okay, and this can cause me a really bad feeling. I'll be like really uncomfortable here. Okay, and if I start like when you start hugging me and start turning my back like this, I start exposing my back. Okay, that's not good for me. Right? So just be careful. Don't let your opponent like turn like that. Okay. So once you're here, close your elbows right here. Okay, and then you place your hand right here on his hips. Okay, so I'm gonna grab his hips as a C grip. Okay. With the gi, like Gojo's, with the gi, I like to grab the pants and push. With no gi, I can grab like this. If you don't if you cannot grab his no gi material like the shorts, you can just like close your hand and put your knuckles right on his hips to push him away as well to find space. But this is also really good. Okay, so once he's here, I'm gonna go with my hand right here. So once I do this, I get the C grip right on his hips. I'll push him and I'll go down. So I bring Jonathan, I press Jonathan that way, and then I'll go down with my legs. So I use my heels on the floor. See, not too close, not very close towards my butt. A little bit away. So I wanna like just walk away from him and then push him like this. So I want Jonathan to be with the chest more on top of my neck almost. Okay? So once I do this, I go like this. And once I do that, I'll turn towards the side that I'm facing. So I'll bring my leg this way. Okay, like this. And at the same time, I'm pushing Jonathan with my hand. And of course, Jonathan wants to bring me back to the floor. Like he's gonna start fighting back, like to push back this way. Right? So what I do, I will move. I'll go 1 and 2, and then if I need to move 3 times, that'll be great as well. But sometimes two movements will be enough for you. So I go step 1 and then step 2, and then I let go and bring both arms close to me like this. In the meantime, of course, my opponent will chase me and try to put the weight on me again. All right. Immediately when I find a space and I'm a little bit away from my opponent, I'll start building the frames here. Like this, pushing his arm, framing his neck, and escaping my hips, and then I start recovering the guard. I'll move away from him. Don't try to go towards him while your back is on the floor. So the position works like this. I will push, and at the same time I go down. And now I go step 1, and now step 2, I turn the other way just to use the momentum. And then I bring my hands towards me, and then I start framing. Okay. So I'm here, and right now Jonathan's not holding my waist, right? He's just here with the weight on me. Okay. So I get the position here, control the C grip on his hips, push, go down, and go 1, 2. Jonathan's in the meantime start hugging, try to chase me, and then I'll frame. Once I frame, I start recovering the guard. And this position, it's not so simple for me to explain in slow motion, right? In the fight, it needs to be fast, okay? You cannot go really slow in the fight, like 1, and then 2, and then escape, right? So you need to use the momentum. Stand up, Jonathan. So imagine like I'm pushing right here. So I go 1, and now look, I'll turn and I use the momentum of my leg. It's kind of like I'm doing a sit-up, right? Like a abs workout, right? I'm doing an abs workout, not sit-up. But I'm working on my abs right here. But I go 1, and as my leg goes, my foot goes this way, my hands and my head move away from him. So my upper body, my shoulders and head. And so I go step 1, step 2, I move away. And I push as far as I can. Once I do that, I'll find a space, especially no gi. It's very, very slippery. This is a little bit harder to do with the gi because the material, so you can grab your belt, you can grab your collar, right, or your gi, or your pants. But no gi is very slippery, so it's easier for you to move like that. So again, so if he's trapping both arms, okay, so I'm here, I'll push, so 1, and then shoot, and then I start framing. Jonathan maybe will hug me in a different way. Like I cannot let him do this. But if he does that, it's even better for me to escape from here right now. So I already frame, now I push him like we learned before, escape the hips, recover in the guard, right? And then I start closing the guard or play open guard. Okay, so you gotta find the frame, okay? Just like I taught in the beginning of the instruction, like the frame here. Remember, when you move away here, you're not gonna be pushing his legs, because then he's gonna hug your head and then he's gonna start smashing you. So right away you frame. Use the frame under his neck as well, and on the shoulder, on the biceps here. And then you start like escaping the hips and recovering the guard, okay? If your opponent do like a tripod position, do a tripod position, just like stand up your legs, take your knees off the mat and stay with the weight on you like this. Okay, sometimes your opponents like land like this too. It's the same concept as well. So you push and then you go 1 and 2. So you go 1, 2 and start moving away. You see that Jonathan is off balance right now. So it's easier for me to get the frame and then start recovering the guard. I just need to force my opponent to work with his base on the floor. Okay. So I'm here, I grab his waist, okay? And it's not hard for me to grab his waist. Okay? Even if you have the weight on my face like this, I can do that, okay? So I'll push him and then I turn to the side. So don't turn to the side first, okay? Because his head is on the way, so he probably can block your legs with his head, okay? Plus, like your head is on this side, it's hard for you to turn that way. So you go this way. Sometimes you can escape right in the first one, like doing this, and that's your intention. You can do, if you can do that, go ahead, do it. The most important thing is to understand that you need to build the momentum. But sometimes you have a good explosion and you're flexible, so just one move is enough. Just like this, and then you start like moving away. So you're very slippery, and then you're gonna start escaping from your opponent's attack or control. Okay, I'm here. Make sure your thumbs are here, okay? Don't grab like this. Okay, use your thumbs. But if you're not too fast or your opponent is heavier than you, you go step 1, step 2. And at the same time, you push away. Sometimes you can even like put on the half guard right here and then start find a way to attack your opponent, like building scrambles. Right? But our goal is to recover the guard. One more time, so 1. See, now I start escape. If I need to use the frame, I'll use the frames. If I go as far as I can, even better, just recover the guard right away. So use this momentum, and you can practice all the techniques that we work, right? Practice with your opponent trying to put the pressure, applying the pressure on you, and you just try to escape. First thing, you try to survive. Don't let your opponent submit you. And the second step is, while you're surviving, you're moving to escape. And remember, if you force your opponent to make base, he's gonna give you space to escape. If you don't force him to base, it's hard for you to escape. And there's a huge difference between defending the position and escaping from the position, right? So defending is every time that he's trying to get a north-south, jumps, and I'm anticipating the movements. I'm already defending, right? But escaping is when I'm already locked in a situation. Now I need to find escape, okay? So in Jiu-Jitsu, there's a huge difference between escape and defending. And right now we're just learning how to escape from side control, okay? But it's the best for me will be the defense, like when I anticipate everything. And of course, the best way for you to anticipate your opponent to control or to defend the side control is to work in a good open guard. And we're gonna talk about the open guard on the fundamental series of open guard also, that you guys can buy and watch and see all the tips that I have for you, okay? Jonathan's on the north-south with both arms over my arms like this, okay? And now when I bridge, Jonathan's hug, he hugs my lower back, okay? And now he's really close to me. If I try to escape, I move. It's really hard for me to move. Okay, because he's holding really tight. Hold tight, Jonathan. Like squeeze. He's like squeezing really hard. He's putting the weight on me. Okay, if you Jonathan's put his knees on the floor, keep your knees on the floor, Jonathan. Like turtle, yes, like this. So he's very vulnerable here. It's so easy for me to escape from this because look, I can frame under his belly. I build like a wall, okay, with my biceps right outside of his triceps right here, and I trap his forearm here, okay, with my lower back. I put my weight really hard here and heavy. And why I'm doing that? Because I want to turn this way and I start pushing Jonathan's here with my forearm and start sitting up, okay. And the reason that I trap here is to not let Jonathan make a base. Because if I do just with my hand, he's going to make a base and then he can keep on top of you. Okay? But if you trap with your lower back and then build a wall here, okay, against his arm, if you have the forearm right here, it's so easy for you to just move that way. It's going to be like a scissor sweep. You sweep this part, squeezing towards you, and you push your elbow like this way. Okay? And at the same time, you really have on his arm. So you lift your legs and then you go like this. So you make him off balance a little bit. Okay? Now it's easier for me to put my elbow on the floor and just start skipping the hips. Okay? So instead of trying to sit up, I start skipping the hips until I turn my belly down. And for sure, after I sit up, he's going to start trying to find a way to make a base and escape. Okay? Again, this is when your opponent is controlling really bad. So he's not like doing this. Put it in a turtle position. He's on turtle position. You go 1, easy to frame. 2, right here. Okay, now you turn your leg. Okay, and then you push the forearm. So Jonathan is like trying to recover. You see, instead of trying like sitting up towards him, I just bring my legs away from him. I post my hands on the floor, turn around. I'm on this position. I go like this. Yeah, bring my bottom leg under, and then I start being on top of him, okay? Of course, this is when your opponent is insisting in controlling your waist, okay? So again, turtle. So I frame, okay? And the reason I go this side is because my head is on this side, okay? So I go the same side of my head. If you just change the side of his head and his body, then I go the other way. Yeah, I cannot go the same side because now his legs is on this side. His legs are on this side, so I cannot turn this way. So I need to change the side. Okay, so I go here. So I turn, push him. Now try to come back, John. He's trying to come back. I can grab his waist right here, and then I start creating scrambles here. I can start going to his back. Okay. So you're just working to force your opponent to move, and then you start like understanding why you moving that way because you're trapping his arm. Okay. All right. So you're gonna trap, frame, trap. Okay, and then you move, and then you push this way. So when you start pulsing the legs on the floor, and then you sit on your hand, and then start stand up in base. Okay. And then you escape. That's the first one. It's very simple. Another thing that I can do if it's like with the knees on the mat like this is to frame like this, okay? Right here. And if I bring Jonathan's hips close to my shoulder, seeing his hips is the line of my shoulder, I have strength like to bridge, force him to pulse. Now I do the same thing. Look, keep the frame and look my bottom leg. I pass underneath of me and keep pushing. Okay, if he doesn't let go my waist, he's gonna fall like that, okay? But I believe in the fight, when you're doing that, okay, when your opponent is here, you're not gonna simply push like that way. So first, you make sure you align his hips towards your head. Same align of your head, so your head goes under his hips. Now I start turning here, okay, like this. Now you post your hand on the floor. Jonathan, to not fall, he's gonna start letting go of their hands, and then I start escaping and going away from him. Okay, but if you keep insisting controlling you, he's gonna fall. Okay, so this one is here. Frame, control, bring close to you, and then you use your legs to sit. Okay, so you need to use this momentum. Like you go 1 and 2. If you don't use this momentum, it's hard for you to sit up. Okay. So he's here. Go 1. Look, he's not putting the weight on me. Okay. And now I go 2, keep the frame, look, now I use the momentum. Hand on the floor and move away from him. Stand up in base. Remember the hip escape we learned for this? Okay, this is really, really important, right? Okay, so if you have the hands locked and his weight on me here, okay, this is also hard for me to escape. Now I cannot build the frame underneath of him, right? But I can still using this arm to trap. Same side that I have my face off. My face is off this way, is out this way, I trap here. Okay, if it's on the other side, I'll trap him the other side. Okay, let's work on this side. So just so you can understand. So notice that his legs are more like this way. Okay, his legs are on this side right here. So you trap, and now use your biceps here. Okay, and then you turn all your body. And also, if he's locking your waist, you use your weight on his forearm. Try to post your hand on the floor, Jones. All my weight is here, okay, on my lower back. I don't do this, because then he's gonna post the hand on the floor. So I don't want that. I take advantage of his grip, so I keep my weight on my lower back, and then I go like this. All right? And then immediately I pass my leg under, and then I start coming on top of my opponent. So when he's here, he's controlling, right? If he's not grabbing my waist, I'll pendulum, like I'll move my leg, just like we worked before. But now this time, like he's grabbing your waist, right? First is grabbing your waist with the knees on the floor. Put your knees on the floor, John. I frame. And if I can frame, I can either work like this if I'm a little bit stronger, right? But if I'm weaker, I go here. 1, 2, and then start like sitting up, right? Using momentum. But now in this case, it's putting the weight. So trap, your lower back trap his arm. Oh, Professor, if you grab the other way, like this, okay, you still like can move your hips, like use your armpit to push his forearm under your lower back, okay? And now look, you bridge to the side, and then you chop the right arm close to his elbow, and this hand you push, and when you push, you hit your biceps on him, okay? So you go like this, right? So Jonathan can make a base, Jonathan. You make a base like this. But then you notice that when you make base, sometimes it's gonna open the arms, and I start bringing my legs close to him, like this, and moving away, even if his arm is closed, okay? So my goal is to go at first, like turning him down. So I go 1 and 2. At the same time, bridging this way, right? And trapping his forearm like this. That's my goal. Okay? If I do that in Jonathan's base, now I bring my knees close to his back. And I can even start attacking his back right here. Stepping my legs inside and start working on my hooks, attacking his neck. I'm chasing his back, okay? One more time. So I'm here. First one, he didn't base, so I surprise him. I'm here, relax, and this is one thing in the fight as well. When you're in the fight, you cannot like show the opponent what you want to do, okay? And be all stiff, and you gotta relax. And suddenly you surprise your opponent with a quick change of your speed, right? So you're here, and then do a really quick change of your speed. And then you can end up on top. If he's controlling really well, have a good base. So once I go, I change the speed, he base. Now I bring my knees inside right here. Bring my legs close and move my head away. Once I'm here, look, I can go for a nice arm bar, right? Or I can sit up and start attacking his back and work on attacking his neck and getting the hooks in, right? So those situations will help you to defend the north-south, okay? And every time your opponent is making a transition, trying to apply a submission, it will be easier for you to escape, and that's what I'm gonna talk next, okay? So let's work on those techniques. And also make sure you do like specific sparring, have your teammate or training partner try to hold you really hard, and then you just chill, relax, and try to escape. Now we're gonna understand how to behave on the side control. What do you need to do in order to escape? Okay, sometimes it's not gonna be easy for you to escape. Sometimes it's gonna be really, really hard for you to find a space or to build your frames. So you don't need to get desperate. The key of the fight is to be patient. All right. If you're not patient and you try to move really fast, you expose your back and your opponent take your back and they end up choking. Or you move too fast, your opponent's like make a transition to mount. Or you're gonna expose you're gonna start moving really fast and you start exposing yourself and your opponent go to the neck or go to the armbar or do like a Kimura trap. So you gotta understand the moves. Like right now, you already know, you have a knowledge of everything that your opponent can do on the side control and how he's gonna be on top of you. Now you're gonna understand when you move and when you do not move, okay? For example, if Jonatas is passing my guard, okay, he's about to control me, I will frame right away, okay, because he's not gonna be here, okay, with my holding my head, underhooking my arm, and crossing his chest over my chest, okay. He needs to work to get there, okay. Of course, if you're on the half guard, for example, and then I let him grab my head, okay, and then he start going for a knee cut, and then he end up passing my guard. Now he's already controlling my head, okay? But let's say if Jonathan is passing like Toriano, for example, he moves to the side, he's gonna put the weight on me, I start framing right away, okay? And once I frame, I start moving, recovering the guard, and doing my best to keep in between my legs. But it's not all the time, it's not every time that I'll have this opportunity to frame, okay? And like I said before, on the side control, especially on the half guard, it happens a lot. I forget to frame, he got really close, and then he started passing my guard. Now he's a really strong side control, okay, or side mount. So you need to understand that once you hear he's holding you, and I start getting desperate, I start moving like crazy, I move, I bridge, okay? So it's not gonna be enough for you to just move without building your frames, okay? First of all, you gotta move in order to find a space to escape, okay? And the best way for you to find escape is first to build your frame. So you bridge, put your frame inside, now you turn, and then you put your frame here under his neck. Okay, so you have one frame, okay, the forearm under his rib and the other forearm under his neck. So now you're here. Then I start moving like crazy. I move, I bridge, I turn to the side, but he's still really strong. He's heavier than me. He's stronger than me. So moving like that, I will only expend energy. Yeah, I spend energy here, and he's gonna keep like really strong. And once I get tired, then he's gonna go for submission. Then he's gonna make a transition to go to the armbar. He can do whatever he wants with me once I get tired. So my goal is to not get tired here. I need to wait. I need to be patient. Because anyways, he already passed my guard. Okay, now it's just a matter of time for him to start adjusting his position and make transitions. Right? And what I want to explain right now, what I want to explain right now is once your opponent controls you, okay, and you build your frame, you don't need to move to escape or to find a space. Sometimes your opponent, and most of the time, your opponent will give that space. How is going to give that space? When you make a transition. So when Jonathan is trying to go for an armbar, he's going to give me space. When Jonathan tries to make a transition to north-south, he's going to give me space. When he's trying to go to mount, he's going to give me space. When he tries to attack my arm, he's going to give me space. Plus, if I move and I start turning away from my opponent, I can expose my back. Even if I turn towards him, I can expose my back as well. He can start going around me and then mount and make transitions. So once Jonathan is here, okay, he's controlling me here. I build the frame, I just wait. So I wait, Jonathan will be here. Stay heavy, Jonathan. I'm not reacting. I just with my hand right here, just waiting. And once Jonathan make a transition, Jonathan. Then I start pushing. Then I escape. Okay, so that's my opportunity to escape. And this transition happens all the time. And why Jonathan wants to make that transition? Because he wants to go for an arm lock, or he wants to go for a Kimura trap or something like that. Okay, he wants to submit you. He wants to attack you. Or when he's here, he can go for a north-south. Right now, go for north-south Jonathan, north-south choke, or even like the north-south control. Okay, just like that. Okay. So when you don't move, your opponent will feel really uncomfortable. He feels like, man, the fight is not happening. I must I must move, right? And in a tournament, if both of you don't move, guess who the referee will call the attention? The referee will call the attention of the guy on top, not the guy on bottom. The referee will say luch. The referee will say move, okay, and then start giving penalties. And in the training, it's the same way. When the person pass your guard and get you here, and both of you don't move, the person on top will feel worthless. Let's say, okay, worthless. Like you feel like, how can I move? Okay, how can I be in this position, this situation, and I'm not doing anything? So my opponent's not moving, I'm not moving. You start feeling uncomfortable. Let's say, okay, uncomfortable. He feels really uncomfortable, and he needs to take an action because he's in attack position here, and you're not attacking him. Okay, you're just defending. Even if you're not exposed or not making frames, if you don't move, he needs to take an action. Okay, and I must hide. Okay, the upper part of my arm. Okay, it's really important to hide the upper part of my arm. So every time Jonathan is strapping my triceps like this, he's dominating my arm. But if I put my elbow inside like this, now he's no longer controlling my arm. Okay, so here he can hook my arm, but right here he cannot hook my arm very well. Okay, same way in the other side. So when I'm here, if I expose and give the upper part of my arm, okay, it's not good for me if I give my bicep and triceps. So I must hide that. And when I put my elbows close, okay, I put my elbows close to my body right here, it's so easy for me to escape. Okay, it's easy for me to find a space when he's making the transition. For example, Jones, come on top of me. So I'm here. Jones will make a transition, Jones. Make a transition. I start finding space, tweak over the guard, and then escape. Okay, so I put my frames inside, I push him, and then I start escaping. Okay. Right now, Jones try to mount. Okay, but let's say he's making a transition to north south. Well, transition, I escape. That's when I move. When he moves, I move. If he doesn't move, I wait. Okay. The only thing I need to do is to find the space to build my frames. Okay. One thing that I don't like to do, okay, and I see this happening a lot, when somebody goes on your side control, people like to do that. They like to keep the leg like this, okay. And in my vision of fight, I don't think this will help you. Okay, this is not gonna help you. This, okay, you relax, you rest, but I don't see this helping you. Let's say if Jonathan wants to make a transition to mount Jones, mount. This is not gonna help you in nothing, right? Of course, if Jonathan try to mount over my leg, then maybe this will help. But I'm fighting against someone who knows jiu-jitsu, so the person is not gonna mount like that. Either they're gonna slide in your belly, right, or they're gonna step the foot over your belly, right, to mount. Okay, so and probably you watch high-level fighters when somebody take their get on the side control, they rest like this. Okay, you can do that just to show the person how relaxed you are, and then you can start messing up with their mindset. Okay, but if I need to take an action and move fast, right, as soon as you start like moving, this probably will slow me down. So I prefer to keep my feet on the floor, ready to take an action and move, bridging, escaping the hips, then having my foot right here. Okay. Plus, I can give opportunity for my opponent to trap my leg. Okay. So when people do that on me, right, like this, do that just, yeah, like he can do it this leg or the other leg, right? Yes. So if people do that on me, I like to like do this, okay, on their leg, and they feel like uncomfortable. It's hard for them to move towards me. Or if they move the other way, I can trap the leg like this, and I start like changing to mount, even if they have the hooks, but it's harder for them to build the other hook. This is a little bit more advanced, but I like to do that. And then from here, I can easily like step to mount, right? But I feel that there's no reason for you to be like that, other than trying to mess around with his mindset. Okay, so he feels like, oh, he's really, really comfortable. He's not panicking. I need to move, right? He's too relaxed. I need to do something. And once you start moving, then you escape. But I prefer to be like this. I prefer to be like this. You can be like that as well. Yes, you can. But the problem with your legs straight, you cannot like bridge, okay, and escape. You cannot like sit up as faster, right? So here you have more mobility on your hips, okay, on your hip escape, on your sit-ups, right? On your turning to one side, turning to the other side, then here, okay? So when Jonathan is on my side control, I'll behave like that. So I have my head on the floor first. As soon as he got the side control, grab my head, Jonathan. Go. I make hard for him to grab my head. You see that? I place my head really hard on the floor. Okay, this is already hard for him to control. And maybe like because he cannot grab the head here, maybe he's gonna pass the arm to the other side. That's when I start pushing and escape. And in my opinion, this is one of the best ways to escape is when you push it that way, right? So I plant my head on the floor and I'll make harder for him to grab my head. And once he's trying to grab my head, I can easily build the frame. Go, John, put the weight on me. Grab my head. Look, I can easily build my frames here. And then I start escaping the hips and recovering the guard, okay? So what I'm trying to explain to you here, okay? What I want you to understand is that you don't need to panic, right? Especially if he grabs you here, you don't need to like do this and move for no reason, just like spending your energy here. And if you don't escape after you move for over 30 seconds, 40 seconds, you're gonna be really tired and it'll be easier for your opponent to finish you. But if you just like stop, right? Build those frames and just wait. You wait. Jonathan just start feeling really uncomfortable. He needs to do something. I escape. I start moving here. Try to hug me, Johnson. Start moving away from him, okay? Or Jonathan will be here, right? And then I'll put my hand in the front of his face. Right here, remember, you're never gonna move this way, right? You always going like this, okay? So I put my hand on my chest and just wait. Both hands on my chest, right? And I wait. Jonathan will do something. Find his space. Now underhook his arm and then start escaping, right? So I just, remember, bridge, underhook, and then start escaping, right? You just gotta understand that you don't need to get desperate. Be patient, right? Jonathan is here, I'm like playing guard, he passed my guard. Grab my head, Jonathan. You see, I put my head really hard on the floor so I can build that frame. I don't put my head really hard on the floor, try to hug my head, and try to push the leg here. Okay, I need to put my hand on this space here because this will make me in a good defense position here. Okay, remember the difference between defending and escaping, right? So here I'm defending the arm going under my neck. I'm just defending. That's why I keep my head high, hard on the floor, against the floor, and I grab here. So I'm defending the holding the head right here. So okay, so you cannot hug my head. So I'm defending. Now I need to escape. Then I bridge and I escape and recover the guard. Once I defend my head, and it's hard for him to control my head, it's gonna be easier for me to escape. Most of the time you succeed better on side control escapes where you prevent the opponent to control your head. If you watch my fights, I always frame his arms, okay? In tournaments, people take a really hard time passing my guard, right? Because I have a good frame and I know like if he cannot grab my head, it's easier for me to move, okay? Once he grabs my head, it's really hard for me to move, especially when he's making a transition from between my legs to the side control, okay, like passing my guard, right? So another thing you can do as well, and I didn't explain this in the instructional, is to turn away from your opponent really quick. And then you're gonna start like, this is a little bit more advanced, but you can do that as well. You cannot stop like this. For example, if Jonathan's past my guard and I'm facing this way, if I try to go this way here, he can be like super heavy on me, okay? Or if I try to go this way, go north-south choke, he's gonna start making a transition to north-south choke, okay? And also, of course, I cannot stop here. So what I'm gonna do, I'll try to not allow my opponent to link his hands together. Try to link your hands together, just like that. If I let him get the seat belt, then it'll be really hard for me to escape. But if I keep here, try to grab the seat belt, so, you see? He can maybe put the knee on belly, but if he does that, he's gonna give me space. then I'll escape still. So what I do is I lift my hips up like this, okay? And I put my head between my legs, and then I roll. Now I recover the guard. Yeah, this is like for you that if you're more flexible, you can do that. If you're not that flexible, okay, usually you can like turtle and run away from your opponent. Okay? Since he's not linking his hands together, right? Try to link your hands together, Jones. Okay? Try to get the armbar. It's hard for him to work right here. You see, do that again, Jones. When he does that, I can easily start escape and start attacking, counter, and scramble with my opponent. Okay? Come here, Jones. If he's already linking and grabbing the hands together, yes, that'll be harder for me to escape because now he can use this as an advantage for him. But still, I can defend from those attacks as well. Okay, and we're gonna learn that more on the back defense instructional. Okay, and the back escapes. Right. So I'll do that for now. So let's say Jonathan's past my guard. I control his hand and do this. Go, Jonas. Try to hold me. So I just stay here. Okay. And now look, I'm gonna turn, and I'll lift my hips like this, like turtle position. Now I go with my head between my legs, and I start putting my butt, putting Jonathan's on top of my hamstring. I cannot have my butt outside here. Okay, I need to slide, and sometimes I need to move my shoulders forward, right, and sliding forward. So now he's on top of my hamstring, still on top of me, Jonathan, like this. And then I start opening my legs and start recovering the guard. Okay. So I'm just again explaining you that's really, really important to find the frames and wait, especially if your opponent is holding you really tight. Wait, transition, Jones. I didn't escape. Go, keep going transition. Do whatever you want. Go. Recover the guard. I build the frame. I bridge. I move. Okay. Let's say it's on the north-south. Go, Jones. North-south. Not the choke, but holding me, okay? Make a transition, go, transition to side control, go. Yeah, start moving. So as soon as I feel my opponent's moving, I know I need to put him between my legs. And I know what he can do. And then I start escaping. So just understand that, and you figure that during the training, during the fight, during the practice, especially the specific sparring, and I'll talk about that in a little bit, you understand that the positions will connect to each other. Once you start doing one thing, then your opponent will make a transition, then you're gonna move in order to escape, right? But if he's moving with a good pressure and hold you down and force you to be with your back on the floor, pinning you really well, yes, it'll be a little bit harder, but you still gotta be patient. And the only thing you cannot let your opponent do is to get a nice choke, like a north-south choke, or a Kimura trap, or a transition to armbar, or turn you sided. Okay, first of all, I cannot dance his dance, okay? I need to dance my dance. So if he wants me to move fast, I don't move fast. If he wants to move me slow, I'll try to move fast, right? I'll surprise him. And changing the speed of the fight is the key, right? So I just played that right here, especially on the side control. And I breathe. Let's say I was playing guard with him. It was a battle. He was fighting, and then I got tired. And then he got on the side. Now I need to recover myself, right? Recover myself. Move, Jones. Move. Try to make a transition. Then I start finding the way. I can't move yet, so okay, stay here. Make a transition, Jones. Then I start recovering the guard and escape. Yeah, just be patient, right? All right. So right now. One tip that I give you, and if you want to improve your escapes and learn how to survive from side control, you must be with your back on the floor, have your head really heavy on the floor, have your frames here, and first you will just think about and try to not let your opponent to submit you or to tap you out. You want to do all his effort to try to tap me out, and I just like survive here, okay? And there'll be things you cannot do in the side control. You cannot like push his chest like this, just like in the armbar, right? Just the chest. You cannot push his hips too much. You can push like sometimes, but not all the time, and keep your hand there, right? So you're just gonna keep your elbows close to your body, hands close to your neck, okay, like this, right? So if you cross like that, yes, you can survive here, but I prefer here, okay? So I just close my hands like this and stay like this, okay? So Jonathan will be on top of me, and I can be like this. Go, Jonathan. Try to finish it. Just try to submit me, okay? As long as you don't turn sideways, keep going. As long as you don't turn sideways and keep your head really heavy, you'll be good. You see, it's a little bit harder for him to tap you if you don't expose your back. But check this out. Go, Jones. Start trying to submit me. Now, I'll give you opportunities. Because I gave him the angle to attack my arm, my shoulder, my elbow, my wrist, my neck, my back. Okay, so you don't turn. Just wait. Okay? Professor, that means I can never turn and you just need to escape like this? No, it's not that. You turn when you find a space. Okay? For example, if I'm here, go, Jones. I stay on the survival mode right now. Go. You see, like, try to grab my head, Jones. Go. Keep my head really heavy on the floor. Protect myself. Don't let me grab your head. Look at my hand on my head here. Try to grab, Jones. Go. Just stay here. Try to go north-south, Jones. North-south. Frame. Always frame. Go, Jones. Look at my hand on my forehead. Jones, try to go katagatame. If I expose and let him touch my triceps, look, now he can start choking. So I always maintain my opponents on my frames, especially the upper body frame right here, in this case. If I'm on the survival mode. Go, Jones. Turn sideways, look, hold his hand. Go, Jones. Survive. Just survive. That's the most important thing. Go Kimura, Jones. Go Kimura trap. Don't let him mess around with you. You just keep like make him frustrate, right? That's the key of the fight. When you make your opponent frustrate, he loses the patience. He loses the balance of the emotional balance that the fight requires, and he start giving up. He started, oh man, I can't tap this guy. I cannot touch him. It's really hard for me to control him, and that's when you start countering him. You can tell by the way he breathes, the way he acts, and the way his face is, you know, like his expression. Like you can see, like he's shaking his hand. He's just like getting frustrated, and that's when you get him. That's when you get him. That's super important in every single fight aspect. Okay, in every single fight aspect. You must have to frustrate your opponent. If you frustrate his main attacks, especially, he's over. Let's say I remember when I was fighting a really good wrestler, right? My wrestling wasn't good, but I say, you know what? If I take this guy down, I'll break him. I'll know like this is his game, and if I put him down, make him tired, and put him down, I cannot put him down like right away. But I'll put him down after like 2, 3, 4 minutes when he started getting tired. And once I did it, I could tell like his eyes were like, you know, like we say this in the fight, his soul like ran. You know, he's just like, oh my God, like I can't deal with this guy. So it's the same, like even if you're a lower belt and the person passes your guard, be patient, like work on the survival mode first, because you're not gonna have a great guard, you're not gonna have a good skills to maintain your opponent between your legs. Maybe like your takedowns also is not gonna be that strong. So you must like put the person on guard, like in order to not get hurt in the beginning, right? And then like if he's on bottom, right here, let's say I'm here on top of Jones, I'm just a beginner. Jonathan is a black belt or a brown belt, and Jonathan sweep me. Jonathan's like a hook guard sweep and land on my side control. I just like survive, Gojo. Don't let him mount on you just here. And with the mount position, if he mount on you, we learn the mount series, right? The escapes from mount on me, Jones. Same thing, survival mode from mount, go. Same principle. Hug my head, Jones. Head really heavy on the floor, Sergeant. Keep your elbows close to your body. Control. Stay here. Right now, I don't want to escape. I just want to survive. Okay? So you can work from side control and you can work from mount. Same thing. Same thing. You can work from the back as well. You let your opponent be on your back, survival mode. You let your opponent go north-south, survival mode. Just survive. And you can practice this like maybe 2, 3, 4 minutes. Imagine like if you're a beginner, but you doing all these tips that I gave you, like putting the head heavy on the floor, framing. Okay, he's trying to hug your head. You place your hand right here, hug my head here, Jonathan. Like I place my head here, he cannot hug my head. Right? So I keep right here, go to the other side, move away, Jonathan. You move away. Look, I'm here. Always with him on top of my frame. And I'm not thinking about escaping right now. But once you learn like how to survive, and now you put together, I will move to escape when you start moving. That's when you're gonna be a really good side control. You have a really good side control escape or side control defense, right? So first you gotta understand the survival mode. Go, Jonathan. I survive, and then he's gonna try to like make a transition, and I start like moving away. Okay, so this is key for the fight, and once you understand that, you will frustrate more your opponents. You'll frustrate more the person that trains with you, and you're gonna start understanding their attacks. And of course, to be able to recognize these attacks and have a good survival mode, you need to know the attacks. You need to know what techniques my opponent can do on me. He's gonna do Kimura, he's gonna do north-south, he's gonna go to the armbar, he's gonna try to do Americana. So how I don't let him like even get close to tap me out. That's the key, okay? So of course, to understand and recognize more the attacks of your opponent and all the things that he can do on top of you, you can have the instructional, the fundamentals from the side control that we have as well. It's great. You understand also the mount and side control, they're very connected right there. So you need to understand both ways, how to survive from mount, how to survive from side control, because they're kind of like connected there. But my goal is to never let my opponent mount on me and to never let my opponent take my back. Okay, if that happens, I need to know and be ready what I need to do in order to defend and not let my opponent choke me or tap me. Okay, so enjoy, have fun, and if you guys have any question, please send the message to @GalvãoBJJ on Instagram, or @GalvãoBJJ on Twitter, or @GalvãoBJJ Facebook. Thank you so much, and God bless us.